Hey peeps, welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. Today we're going to be doing another small little comic book haul. Well, not really small, but hey, you know how we do it. And on this channel we have to pay the bill, so let's go ahead and do our sponsor. And this episode of Direct Edition is brought to you by my fake Darth Maul from China. So let's get into it, peeps. Okay, so this weekend I had the pleasure of going to this new comic book shop. It's called The Great Escape. Talked to the owner and end up finding out that this comic book store has been here in Marietta, Georgia for over 20 years. So that means that this comic book shop survived the 1992 collapse when the comic book shops were opening and closing. And I thought it was very cool, man. So let me show you a video of the inside of this comic book store. So yeah, I'm headed to The Great Escape, just driving, vibing. Just happy to be out of the house, man, and go on a hunt. So y'all take this hunt with me. Alright? There was an even bigger and way better library nearby, owned by a guy you may have heard of, ex-President Thomas Jefferson. This is what I'm talking about. Wow.
You know what? That explains maybe the color of that document because it looks like someone spilled some brown liquid.
The ticks. It's ticked up pretty bad. Dang. Look at it.
Yeah, they're now worth like 4 times cover price online.
Yeah.
Which is why I got one.
So yeah, while I was at this comic book store called The Great Escape, I end up picking up a lot of runs or a lot of fillers for my runs. So I plugged in a lot of holes and I plugged in a lot of gaps. So even though my haul was not like super big, it ended up being big because I ended up pulling out some stuff out of my collection and just finishing it off finally. But before we get into it, let's look at some of these Marvel Selects that's straight out of the dungeon. This one is very hard to find. This is the Brood and Skull 2-pack. A Brood and Skrull. I'm sorry, I said Skull. Brood and Skrull 2-pack. So this is very cool. You got Captain Marvel. Very cool. First character to really kind of, die in comics. Had cancer. And then you have the Atkinson, which is Cable. And man, this Cable, I was so happy when I saw that they was releasing it. I definitely had to end up buying one. Did I end up buying Comic Book Window one? I think I sent Comic Book Window one. I'm not sure. But anyway, this Cable is like, man, that's so 90s. That's so Rob Liefeld. It's just cool, man. He comes with a whole bunch of guns. Like if you can look on the inside, which you can barely see, his stand actually has like a Strife helmet, like melted. Like he beat up Strife real bad. So yeah, man. I'm in love with my Marvel Selects. I think I have about anywhere between 25 to 30 selects in the dungeon. So yeah, pretty cool. So the best part of the selects are the side of the boxes. The side of the boxes are always cool, man. I really love the artwork. I took a break on my selects, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start back collecting my selects because now I have a job where it's, it's pretty, it's a good job. So I think now I'm going to start picking back up on my selects. So yeah. And you know how we do on Direct Edition. Let's get into some comics. So right off the top, we're going to get right into it. We got this is White Tiger. And this is a number 1 in a 6-part series. And I was very happy to, get almost the complete run. I've always had this comic book. I've always thought this artwork is sick. I actually met this guy at Dragon Con and got him to do a Wolverine. Well, he actually had a Wolverine commission that he already completed. So I bought it and he signed it. Didn't have any frames for it. Yes, his name is David Mack. And this is how he signs his name. But anyway, I love this white tiger. So I was blessed to have number 1. But not only do I have number 1, but I have number 2. Very cool. Number 3, David Mack. Number 4, man, these covers are so nice. So number 4. And I'm missing number 5, but I have number 6. So this is my white tiger run. And she's on Spider-Man Web Warriors. So I was pretty excited, when I saw her on Spider-Man Web Warriors. And I just love the covers, man. They're very cool, man. So eventually I'll run across the number 5, probably like in the dollar bin. But I'm not going to lie, these are not that easy to find. Well, I haven't really seen them in the wild like that. So, and my favorite cover is the number 1, man. I think the number 1 is beautiful. If you allow my sexy hands to interrupt your video. Just look at that cover, man. And it's something about her uncle used to be the white tiger or some crap like that. So very cool. Yep. Anytime I see any Wildcats number 1 in the wild, I'm going to pick them up. Well, most of the time I'm going to pick them up because I have that 90s kid nostalgia, and I feel like one day they're due, and people will recognize how awesome, Image was back in the day. And eventually it kick back in and, the prices will go up. So definitely, man. And I know this Wildcats, the first one by Jim Lee, it actually has like a couple of variants. You have a newsstand, you have like a 3D version. It's a bunch of them, but yeah, man. Love my Wildcats and love the TV show. And this is one of my favorite runs of X-Men. This is called X-Men Supernovas. This is X-Men 188. This is when Sabretooth was running away from some villains called the Children of the Vault. He didn't really tell the X-Men, but he ran to the X-Men mansion. Mystique was already there. And I think Mystique ended up turning bad when you had the Messiah complex come around when Hope Summers actually first appeared. So, but anyway, this is one of my favorite X-Men runs because they actually, fight the Children of the Vault. This is Rogue's team. She had a North Star, the sister, who has multiple personalities on the team. She had Sabretooth, she had Mystique, and she also had my boy, Cable, on there. So it's a real cool run. So I got 188, 189 of Supernovas. You see Sabretooth in that cell. That's what Rogue did. She locked his butt up because she didn't trust him. So 189, 190, when Mystique and Iceman started dating. 190. 191, when Cable officially joined the team. 192, when Rogue put the beat down on Sabretooth. And 193, when they officially fought the Children of the Vault. So the Children of the Vault are they're almost like Inhumans or mutants. They're from a different alternate, well, no, they're not from a different alternate reality. What they are is they're like in this space-time where they're hidden away from everybody. And they were people that was experimented on by the government, and they end up developing powers. And when I tell you I have a lot of I have most of the children. No, I have all of the Children of the Vault's appearances, and I like them. They're a very weird sect of X-Men villains that don't get a lot of hype. So if you get a chance, look up Children of the Vault. They're very interesting, and I have a hardcover. It's like an X-Men Legacy where Rogue goes to India with one of the students, and the Children of the Vault show up there in India. So very cool, man. Happy to have this complete run of Supernovas. And while I had it out, I might as well show you. This is the next book up. This is the Rogue's full team. So you got Cannonball, Sabretooth, Cable, Mystique, and Iceman. Very good run, man. I love this run. So a lot of people don't know that Scar has a twin brother named Hero Kala. And I found out about that when I started reading, Scar books. And one of Scar books has Dark Sun. And in that book, that's when Hero Kala was outed as being Scar's twin brother. And Hero Kala was raised as a slave, but then he ended up having his mom's power, more of his mom's power than the Hulk. And Hero Kala is very cool. So he eventually came to Earth, tried to destroy it. They entrapped him in stone. And then he got free and, kind of did an Emperor Vulcan thing where he went up in space. It just wreaked havoc. So this is Realm of the Kings 1 in a 4-part miniseries. Realm of Kings 2. Realm of Kings 3 with X-Men Bone on the front. And lastly, the Realm of Kings 4, which is very cool, man. I love my cosmic comic books. I always try to keep, a watchful eye on like Galactus and the cosmic beings. So this is very cool to get. So, yep. So this is one of my guilty pleasures. A lot of people like Teen Titans, but I actually, picked up Shadow Pack back in the day just for the hell of it. And I said, let me just see what this is all about. And I ended up liking it so much. So when I got a chance to buy, a couple of more of this runs, for maybe like $1 from The Great Escape. Every time I hear that I always think about that song, The Sweet Escape. I got a pocket full of sunshine in my night. Take me away, the sweet escape. But anyway, that's what I was singing the whole time I was in that comic book shop. But anyway, this is Shadow Pack number 1. Very cool, man. Shadow Pack number 2. Man, I suggest this run for anybody who just likes, a different feel. This was very good, man. And it was from back in the day. It was from what? Let's see what year. 2006. So Shadow Pack 2. Shadow Pack 3, when their villains took over the front cover. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so anytime I see the Shadow Packs, 1, 2, and 3, I end up picking them up because, I want to eventually collect more of them. But yeah, as of right now, I have 2 complete runs of 1 through 3. So very cool, man. And we got that Bishop number 1 out of the dollar bin. Very happy to find that. This has your 90s gold foil cover. You allow my sexy fingers to interrupt your video. Look at that. Look at that. Bishop had the weirdest black guy mullet I've ever seen out of any hero or anywhere in my life. Black people didn't even have mullets. What were you doing, Marvel? Like, really? A mullet? He must have had a Jerry curl. Was that a Jerry curl? Was that just let your soul glow shine through? Really, Marvel? Okay, so one of the coolest stories I can ever suggest to you is called The Beyond. A lot of stuff happened in this series. This is where basically the heroes get transported to another world or whatever. So it's not necessarily by the book or continuity run. And the crazy thing is Venom ate Spider-Man in this run. But The Beyond, if you like weird out there books, I would suggest you do this. So I've already had the complete Beyond series, but I went ahead and picked it up again, okay? Because I like it so much. So not only do we have Beyond number 1, Beyond number 2, where Venom ate Spider-Man. See his hands coming out. Beyond number 2. Beyond number 3 with Deathlock. Beyond number 4, where you thought Spider-Man was actually not dead, but he ended up being this creepy ass villain. I don't know. It was creepy, man. Beyond number 4. Beyond number 5, where the world started going, almost ending. So, you knew that the run was about to end. So, beyond number 5. And lastly, where stuff hit the fan, beyond number 6. Now, I just figured it out as I was going through these books that the Beyond was almost like, what was that called? Where you had this Survivor, where you had to be on that island and survive and stuff. So it's basically a Survivor with superheroes, and it's not like in continuity, so you don't have to worry about, Spider-Man lore and all this other kind of stuff. It's just a nice, fun, easy read, man. And if you get a chance, go ahead and pick up Beyond and tell them Fred Hall Direct Edition suggested it. And for my old Dusty Crusty, I got War of Gods. I just love that cover. This book doesn't go for that much, but hey, man, when you see something that you like, you just pick it up, and it's not about money. It's about the collecting. YouTube deserves a better YouTuber, and I'm gonna give it to him. That's a quote directly from the Joker on Dark Knight. Please excuse me. So yeah, War of the Gods, 1991. Very cool cover. And look who's on there. Right next to Superman. Not Ice. My girl Donna Troy. So I do have some books that I look for as soon as I go into any comic book shop. One of them would be Harley Quinn. The other would be Wonder Woman. I will definitely look through your Batmans, your Wolverines, your Uncanny X-Men, and your X-Men, and your New Mutants. I will always look through those runs first before I do anything, even before I, look through Superman. And yeah, man, I found Harley Quinn Rebirth number 3 for, I think they only charged me cover price for it. Don't mind that sticker on there. But yeah, man, Harley Quinn number 3. So I'm plugging in the holes and plugging in the gaps of my Harley Quinn. I have 1, 2, and 3. So eventually I'm just going to keep on going. And, I think I got more. I just haven't put my run together and realized what I'm missing out of the holes. So what I do basically is I make a mental catalog of the covers, and I'm good like that. So I can go in any comic book shop and be like, hey, I probably don't have this one. I don't need a list because my job is quality control. So quality control, you kind of have to have like a good memory, or you have to have a good notepad. So Harley Quinn number 3, Rebirth. Very cool. Had to pick up this Captain America number 35. This villain, I believe, is called like Protocide. So very cool, man. He's like the direct opposite of Captain America. Like a lot of people don't know about him. He's a slept-on villain, but to me, he's one of the better villains. So anytime I see, it's not that many books. I think he was only in one Captain America run, but anytime I see Protocide, I get a little excited because I know that Captain America is going to be in for a butt whooping. So pretty cool, man. So you have 3 main events. So we're at the point in the video where you ask me, hey, Fred Hall, Direct Edition, what are you reading right now? This is what I'm reading. This is the Ultimate Spider-Man. This is Death of Ultimate Spider-Man. When I read this book, it was kind of sad because in 2000, I started picking up the Ultimate Spider-Man, and I fell in love with the, reinvention of, what was going on in Peter Parker's life. They made him young again. So it was very hard to see the way that he died in this book. And man, it was just, it tore me up a little bit. So here's a look at the front of the book. And here's a look at the back of the book where, you see Peter Parker dead. Very sad, man. If you allow my sexy hands to interrupt your video, just look at this last panel. So yeah, man. When I read it, I don't get like super sad, but it's still like a moment where you have to be like, wow, So pretty cool. Okay, for your first main event, we have Harley Quinn number 18. I love how she's looking at her Suicide Squad costume. This is a Frank Cho cover. So definitely, man, I'm in love with this. Love it, love it, love it. And this one is very like, you're not gonna walk up on in your local comic book shop and just find this still on the rack. If you do, it must not be, you're lucky, because I would suggest you go ahead and pick this up every time you see it. Very cool, man. I said you had 3 main events, but you actually have 4. I was finally able to find it. I walked into The Great Escape, ended up finding these, still cover price, still sitting there. And they had 4 more, so I was like, should I buy all 4? So I just bought 2, and I'm definitely going to save, I definitely save the other 2 for somebody who's looking for them, But if I go back this weekend and they're there, guess what? I'm going to buy them. Because I really like this cover, man. I really dig the holographic cover, and since this was announced, I was very happy to know that it was going to happen, because I'm very excited to see the Watchmen come over to the DC universe. So yeah, this is number 2 in your main event. So we still have 2 more to go. Dude, when I tell you how long I've been looking for this book, I really started singing that song, The Sweet Escape, at that store when I found this. This is Darth Vader number 3. This is a 4th printing. You might as well say it's a variant. I don't know why they say 4th printing. It's just a variant. And it's the first appearance of my girl. Look how she look on the front cover. First appearance of Dr. Aphra. And that, I love that droid that she has with her. I forget his name, but he's like C-3PO with a serial killer entrapped inside his body. Because that dude is crazy. And that little other droid is just like R2-D2, but a killer. So I love Dr. Aphra. I love her droids, because her droids torture and kill. And man, so happy to finally find the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. And it goes for a pretty good amount. And I only bought it for cover price. So beat that. And your last main event is Crisis on Infinite Earths. I've been eyeing this book for a while, but I would not pick it up. I love this cover because I know the X-Men did a cover like that where Cyclops was holding Jean. This cover has been swiped more times than my debit card. Can you believe that? So anyway, yeah, I got it for $22. Nothing's wrong with it. Very beautiful book. I opened it up and looked inside. White pages. Man, I am so happy to finally have this in my collection. Add it to my oldie, goldie, crusty dusties, my wall books. Man, I love this. Love this book. So yeah, this will be your 4th main event. Crisis on Infinite Earths. The death of Supergirl. So, once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. Remember, you guys, be safe out there. Focus on the ones that show you love, not on the ones that don't show you love. And man, you guys be safe out there. And I will catch you guys later. Peace!